guess that wouldn't really help that much, though, would it?
No, but I mean,
Read
you
the
can
symbology.
always stream it.
Well, you could see, yeah, instead of streaming Twitter because it needs to be real time.
Yeah.
So you can give like so he says, oh, where is this? And so you can see like, when he's looking around, he can say, oh, it's up on there, right? So you save time, right?
Yeah.
And you can, obviously some of these mappings would be right on the joystick, but or if it's training people on dive angle and other things, right? You can go through the, like right before you line up to the target, you can say, okay, you're getting on target, you need to point your nose down. These are the 3 things you need to do, right? I just think it would speed things up because, I mean the worst type of training is like listening to Injurin. I mean, it's as confusing as hell. He's all over the place.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah. But if you had Dave, you can sit in the back seat with the Albatross. I did that.
I know, but we don't
bloody
train
exciting.
on the Albatross. I mean, that may be fine for training basic, fight stuff. But I mean, when you want to train on the Harrier or the A10, you kind of have to be there, right?
Yeah, but you need good tutorials, like the YouTube guy, the Kate Fly, and I don't remember his name.
Yeah, but
has really
there's
good
nothing wrong with
stuff.
tutorials, but there's nothing that can replace live training because it's faster, it's immediate, it's real time. I'm sitting there indexing through a queue of the video, trying to find that one spot where this is what you're trying to do right at this moment, right? In real time.
Yeah.
I think it would just the YouTubes are great, but it takes time to go through the YouTubes. And the information's not always accurate either. Things change and get updated, right?
Yeah. But what people need to have, though, and be certain of when you do that stuff is what switches they have selected, like sensor select and TDC and all that stuff. They need to know what that is. Otherwise, you just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And
well, that's why you have them. You give them a map, right? Like I can give them a map of the Harrier, right? And then they can set it up just the way we have it. Like this is our, you can make some changes, but this is the way we set up our Harrier, right? If you have the Warthog.
Yeah, getting people to bind the same buttons everywhere, it won't work. Because everyone has their preferences and they have their thing they have done.
Yeah, well, it's up to people to map their own keys. I mean, if they don't see the logic on why you do that, I don't understand, like Squirrel and like, oh, I don't sit there and write everything down. Like, well, how can you fucking fly anything and understand where the controls are when you're playing 4 different planes? How is that even possible? Like, with all the different nuances, it means you have to play the plane all the time to be familiar with where you put your shit, right?
Yeah, but you try to, but everyone tried to put the same on each plane, right? The most basics at the same controllers. Yeah, I do that, and and I also use the 3D clickable cockpit.
Oh, I know, but there's differences. I mean, that's what gets you confused. It's not the 80% of the mapping where you forget. It's the 15% where you had to move it for whatever reason, right? Because like with the Harrier, there's a whole bunch of sensor selects, and with the A10, you have all your countermeasures. Which normally you put on the countermeasures. Like, it doesn't always stay the same. I mean, the majority you try, but it just doesn't. In the end, there's always going to be about 20% of the buttons that you're moving around in different places, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would require us to have the actual stick set up for that specific plane.
Well, of course.
The only thing we have now is the A10.
That's right. Which is great because it can handle a lot of functions, right? So it can do everything, but it requires that things do get moved around, and that in order to, remember that, those functions, you need to map them out. There's no way I could fly this, like, to be able to jump into 3 or 4 different aircraft and and remember like 2 months later where I put everything.
No.
I mean, I assume that the flaps are on the flaps and you know, the
Air
basics are where they're
brakes
going to
and
be, right?
yeah. That's it.
But
That's what I use. I use all those basics on the stick and throttle, and then the rest is clickable in cockpit. And then if there is something in cockpit I want that I use a lot, I would like to bind to something, then I find a button for it.
yeah, but I think that's the whole point, is trying to get your head out of the cockpit and keep it up all the time and not be using your mouse.
Yeah,
Like
but
the
that's
minute,
where you end up anyway, right? Because you find out what you need access to without looking down in your cockpit all the time.
exactly. But which ends up being quite a bit, usually. Like, where's the sensor select in the cockpit of the Harrier?
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
you would never do that because that's on the stick on the Harrier. You don't never click
Exactly.
on that stick. That's bound to
Exactly.
your stick anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. You see, there's lots of stick functions that, you know, just, you know,
Yeah, and
again,
those
TDC forwarding, you know, that's on the stick. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a whole slew of them that are,
Yeah, there are
that-
two very, very important ones. That's the TDC and the sensor select. Those
Yep.
need to be bound, and you need to know where they are when you fly. And then you got the uncage. Is
the
important.
uncage is another one, right?
Yeah, but you find that out. You find out what you need.
Caution, caution,
I'm concentrating quite a bit
caution,
now, trying to land on this pad.
caution,
But
caution, caution, caution,
Okay.
caution,
I'm actually
caution,
streaming this. It'd be
caution,
interesting.
caution, caution,
Damn, I had to check if my
caution,
gear was down.
caution,
Ooh,
caution,
no, this is
caution,
bad.
caution,
This is
caution,
bad.
caution,
Bad. Come on, steady.
caution, caution,
Steady.
caution, caution,
Yeah, to each their own.
caution,
For me, I have to map things out. It's the only
Caution.
way for me to
Caution.
come back.
caution, caution,
And
caution, 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 caution,
Come on,
caution,
come on,
caution,
come on. No,
caution, caution,
come on.
caution,
Oh, this is
caution,
bad. Bad.
Caution.
Yes,
Caution.
very bad.
caution, caution,
Ow.
caution, caution,
Wish I didn't stream
caution,
this.
caution, caution, caution,